Hello, my fantasy friends. I'm the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart from HotRoster today, here with your weekend HotRoster report. With one more week before the NBA All-Star break, the association has lined up some pretty huge matchups, including the most anticipated game of the season, Kevin Durant's return to Oklahoma City. But this game is far from the only one you should be watching. There are plenty of compelling storylines in both the NHL and NBA heading into the weekend. So I'm here to identify what these stories are and which key players will be involved, because you'll almost certainly find these guys on HotRoster cards all weekend long. It's undoubtedly the biggest game of the year in the NBA, and rightfully so. Kevin Durant spurned Russell Westbrook and the Oklahoma City Thunder when he decided to take his talents to California to form a super team with the Golden State Warriors. Now the two stars will finally meet in front of the OKC faithful on Saturday night, and you can bet it won't be a very welcoming return for Kevin Durant. But that doesn't mean Durant's return won't be a success, because I think it will, even if the Warriors lose to the Thunder that night. KD has absolutely owned Oklahoma City this season. In 2 games against his old club, he's averaged 39 points, shot a ridiculous 70% from the field, connecting on 67% from three-point land too, and grabbed an average of 9.5 boards. Safe to say, Durant hasn't just broken the hearts of OKC fans, he has quite literally shredded them with his exceptional play. So expect more of the same from Durant. I think just given how emotionally charged it's going to be, I think he'll put up another 30-plus point effort with 10 boards to boot. Meanwhile, his old buddy Russell Westbrook won't be a slouch himself. I know this won't come as a shock, given that he's done it all season long, but Westbrook has averaged a triple-double against the Warriors this season, tallying 23.5 points, 10.5 boards, and 11.5 assists over their 2 meetings at Oracle Arena. Now, with a chance to finally play the Warriors in front of the home crowd, I'd expect Westbrook to put together a 30-point triple-double. It's for that reason, if you see Westbrook matched up with Durant on HotRoster, I'm all over Westbrook. Durant might outscore him, but I believe Westbrook will grab more boards and assists, which will be enough to put him over the top on HotRoster. Another big game in the association this week features another MVP candidate. His name is Isaiah Thomas from the Boston Celtics. Maybe you heard of him. He probably should be a starter in the All-Star game, but I think for now he'll settle for his Saturday night tilt against Gordon Hayward's Utah Jazz in Salt Lake City. And most times playing the Jazz is kind of like a black hole. They just drain any player's fantasy value with their strong defensive play. But Thomas seems to be immune to that. Back in January, when these teams met, he put up 29 points and 15 assists, which remains a small part of a 37 straight games that Thomas has put up at least 20 points. He's been that amazing. But maybe a guy who's been nearly as good lately is Gordon Hayward of the Jazz. Over his last 4 games, Hayward has dropped 29 points and 6 boards on average. Part of the reason for the surge can be attributed to George Hill's absence. With Hill off the court, Hayward's usage rate has seen a 4% increase, and it could very well happen again on Saturday should Hill sit again with his toe injury. So, as crazy as it sounds, if Hayward was matched with Thomas on HotRoster Saturday, I'm going to take Hayward for the big-time upset. I think given that Hayward is home and riding a hot streak of his own, he'll get it done against the Celtics. Over to the ice, where Saturday afternoon's game between the Sens and Isles has a chance to be particularly special for a couple goalies on each team. In case you haven't noticed, New York's Thomas Greiss has been an absolute beast as of late, firmly establishing himself as a top goalie option. Over his last 9 starts, Greiss holds a record of 7-1-1 thanks to his .929 save percentage and a .210 goals against average over that stretch. Saturday's game against the Sens only marks another opportunity for Greiss to showcase why he needs to be owned in all fantasy formats. He remains available in 44% of ESPN leagues, so if he's available in yours, make sure you go out and get this guy. And speaking of guys you should also pick up, how about Craig Anderson of the Sens, who's still available in 53% of leagues? Saturday's game could mark his first start since he took a leave of absence in December to take care of his wife as she underwent cancer treatment. I think when he gets back, which seems likely to happen within the week, he'll defy expectations. Before he left the team, Anderson had won 12 of 19 games this season while posting a .924 save percentage, his best since the 2011-2012 campaign. Now, it remains to be seen if either of the guys starts on Saturday, but if they both do indeed suit up on Saturday, I'd keep your eyes on these HotRoster cards, because if they're on them, I love Greiss and Anderson's chances at a big game Saturday afternoon. Well, that's it for today, my fantasy friends. Hope you enjoy the weekend, and best of luck with your HotRoster picks. And for those of you who don't know what HotRoster is, you got to check it out. Go to HotRoster.com, download the app, give it a try. It's like no other fantasy game you've ever played. And then for help winning the game, check out HotRoster today with me and Gary and Thorne every weekday at 4:30 Eastern, only on the Fantasy Sports Network. For HotRoster now, I'm Cam Stewart, and I'll see you later on.